Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Carlie Talks Cash. I'm Carlie, and of course, if you are returning and you've seen the videos before, I appreciate you watching, so thank you so much for joining once again. So if you're viewing for the very first time, thank you so much, and welcome back. Go ahead and get comfortable and learn a little bit about the thought process, emotions, and all of the little things that make up life that evolve around finances that maybe we didn't even realize, or maybe is it that finances evolve around these things. So whatever the case may be, join me. I'll tell you a little bit about what has worked for me, what I'm learning about now, and all of the fun stuff. So what are we going to start off with today? I would say that we're going to start off with number one. If somebody gives you an inch, do not take a mile. I always try to make these videos short and sweet, so let's see what we can do today. So back to number one. I'm sure that many of us are familiar with give an inch, take a mile. If you haven't heard that phrase before, if you're not quite familiar with it, it is basically saying you give somebody a little bit and then they just try to continue to take a lot, right? Please, guys, don't take advantage of people. Definitely not people's kindness. Even if some people want to give and give and give and give and give, at some point, honestly, you do have to draw the line. You have to draw the boundary somewhere. It lets them know that you appreciate what they're giving, but it also lets them know that you're not trying to drain them dry. So if we're on the receiving end of help, the best thing to do is be mindful of how much you're taking, but also reflect on the lesson of it all. Were you being, smart with your money? Was it really something that truly happened that was outside of your control? Anything? Was it a combination of different things? So it's also something that you can keep in mind in the process of bouncing back. You can evaluate, take that time to evaluate what it is that you could have done better if there was something that you could have done in particular. Everybody's circumstances are different, of course. And once again, if we are on the receiving end of help, just make sure that even, like I said, even if somebody is people pleasing and they want to bend over backwards for you, so on and so forth, just be mindful of how much you are taking of that. Like, do you need all of that? Is that what you originally came there for? Be as modest as possible. Even if somebody wants to give, there's a part of them that they are soothing by doing that. Like I said, it's people pleasing. That's a whole other other conversation there. But basically, just be mindful when you are receiving help. And on the other side of the coin, if you find that you are helping somebody, or if you help people often, which is a good thing, never a bad thing, but also be mindful of how much they're taking. And if you're people pleasing, if you have your boundaries set as well, if you are putting yourself in a place where you might be getting taken advantage of or allowing yourself to be drained dry, things like that, it does so much psychology to it. It's crazy. Now, I'm definitely not a psychologist. I'm not a financial advisor. I literally am working and going to school, and these are things that I'm learning along the way, things that I've noticed. It totally ties into your finances, and I will tell you why. Because if someone is using up your resources, using your money, borrowing money from you, not paying you back, or taking forever to pay you back, or whatever the case may be, it affects you. It affects you here. It affects you here. It affects you physically, as far as like I said, your finances, your resources, maybe even your time. You're putting in more time, more effort. You're driving everywhere, or whatever, whatever it may be. Just like I said, be mindful. don't take the mile. When you're getting the inch, man, don't do it. This brings me to my next point, people pleasing. Number two is all about people pleasing. So that way we can kind of segue, and maybe into the third point. People pleasing is a habit that comes along when you've either experienced something in childhood or a relationship, at work, academia, somewhere along the lines where you felt you weren't good enough, you weren't doing enough, somehow you weren't adding up. I mean, people pleasing can come from a lot of things. So, examples of this habit would be being the one that always pulls out the credit card. Oh, yeah, I'll pay for it. I got it, right? Showing people that you got it like that. Regardless if you do or not, or don't. You may or may not, but, or saying yes all the time, or agreeing with people all the time, or something in that nature. Or it could just be one person. It doesn't have to be like everybody, but it could be one person that maybe you are intimidated by, or you feel like you have to stay in their good graces. So, or in people's good graces in general. So you do everything that you can to maintain these friendships, these work relationships, these relationships with family, with a spouse, or whatever. So I'll tell you this: if you feel like you have to do that with people all the time, I'll tell you now, you do not. And it's not the easiest habit to break, because of course you want to be nice. Of course you want to be, of course you want to be liked and accepted. That's a very primal thing in us. A lot of us do want to be considered. We want to be taken care of and have the benefits of friendships and relationships, of course. Long story short, people pleasing is something that also ties into your finances, because of the fact that you could be spending money trying to impress others, which I have talked about this before. A lot of these points will probably sound similar at times, because it's just a big web of things that we can work on detangling, but they all kind of tie into each other. Now, I'm not saying don't treat your friends, don't take your mom out to lunch, don't buy nice things for folks. I'm not saying to do that. You don't have like that. There are people in your life that really do deserve it. Just be mindful of your spending habits. Is it something that is truly a gift, or something that you really want to give? Or is this all about making an impression, trying to keep someone in your life, or so on? I could definitely be confident and say that this third point is very much connected to the last point. I didn't even have to look at little notes today. Wow, that's crazy. So this message, this last message or point, is for my folks that are well taken care of, maybe never really had to work before, work at all. Maybe just came into some new money. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you're successful at content creating, and you're doing well. You have finances that you can put away or invest, make your money work for you. Then I would definitely say, please pay attention to where you're spending your money. Don't have people around that are just there for what they can get from you. Honestly, no matter how much you're making, always make sure to be wise about your finances. You are able to put some money away if you could buy anything extra in your life at all, even if it's only $5. You can afford to put something away. Even if you have to build it slow, even if it takes more or less time than someone else, work on that. Work on, learning how to invest. Learn how to make your money work for you. legally, of course. But learn how to do that. Be smart, save up, and a high yield savings account. Just one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, but always try to be prepared for your next move. So that might have been a little bit of rambling, might have not been. Either way, thank you so much for joining me today. And we just had a crazy hurricane just blow through the southern United States and Jamaica and so Mexico. So many places have been affected. So I really hope that everybody is safe or is in the process of getting safe. Everyone's doing all right, getting their lights and their power back on, or somewhere that they're all right. But either way, please, if you are able to help those that have been affected by the hurricane, definitely make sure to reach out and do the best that you can, but also make sure that you're remaining safe and smart in the process. And all right, everybody, God bless. Take care. See you in the next one.